for joining me today. We're going to do a quick spiritual reading. I have no clue what this is going to be about. It's not one of my typical archetype readings. I just thought we'd jump into something a little deeper today. So, let's get into it. What is going on with my collective? I'm going to go ahead and start with an animal energy card, so I know who is involved with this and what kind of energy. Okay. Whoa, crossroads. Ooh, we have the phoenix on the back of the deck. That's all about rising from the ashes. This came up in a recent reading for me. The flame and one of the collective love readings, and it routed back to the prayer. So you can go check out those archetypal readings. Those might resonate for you. The two cards we pulled today is the gazelle and the tarantula. This is that crossroads energy that I was picking up on. Interestingly enough, these are both fire signs. So, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Interesting. Now, the gazelle is about heightened intuition, but I see that originally in reverse. So it almost feels like you might feel like you're at a crossroads, like you have to choose a path to go down, and you're confused or unsure. Maybe you're even scared to choose a specific path or to make a decision. There's a paralysis here that I'm feeling. Some type of, but it feels self-inflicted. It doesn't feel like it's coming, like you're unable to make these choices. It's more of like a mental, I wouldn't even call it a blockage. It's like you, let's just go deeper. But no, I definitely do feel like this paralysis sensation. Let's get one or two. Okay. Oh, we got two. Ooh, and we have trickery on the back of the deck. Okay. Maybe someone tricked you, or you felt tricked in a situation that it may have cost you a lot. And as a result, now you have to like rebuild, start from scratch, or you're at this crossroads where you're deciding how to rebuild, who to rebuild with. We do have passion coming out. But on the other hand, there is gossip. Okay, I see it. You are trying to decide between something that you love and cherish and what other people are going to say about it, other people's opinions. And that is a tough crossroads to be at. This is one that I actually did highlight in a previous reading. I think Thanatos was the reading that I had talked about it with, that archetypal reading. Because that reading was heavily about choosing your own path. It was about failing and failing and failing and failing and failing until eventually you learn the lessons that you needed to learn to succeed. That within every single failure there was a success. Just that success was disguised as a lesson. So we're looking at passion, right? You seem to be at this crossroads where you have, it's like a fork in the road. You have two paths you can go down. Ooh, I'm hearing Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. That's just a spring clean for the May Queen. Yes, there are two roads you can go down, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. Okay, so maybe it's like this. Like, this reminds me a lot of myself, actually. Like, a very young version of me. In my early 20s, I went to law school, like, 4 different times. I dropped out. I felt like that was something that would make my dad proud. And I felt like it was a traditional life path that made sense on paper for me, right? What I didn't want to recognize was, 1, I don't like doing all that paperwork. 2, I don't like to argue, ever. In fact, I won't do it. If I am arguing, something's gone horrifically wrong, and I am literally the only person who can fix it, which is unfortunate. I really don't like to yell or argue. But this is giving me the sense that you're kind of at that crossroads that I was at, where I kept going down the path of law school over and over and over again, only to hit a dead-end street every single time, where every single time I found myself deeply depressed, full of anxiety, dreading my next class, dreading the fact that I had paid so much for these classes, so how dare I drop out again, waste my money, disappoint my father, disappoint my family, leave my job because I'm not evolving in it, so it's a dead-end street once again. It became this endless, torturous cycle that I was stuck in, where I was refusing to look at my own needs, where I was refusing to look at what I wanted, what really felt true and right for me. And it was all based off of, well, what will other people think? Because what was my true passion? What did I really want to do? Tarot. And every single chance I got, I would go out to bars with friends, I would go out to bars alone, and I would do tarot for complete strangers. Every single weekend, every chance I got, I would carry a tarot deck with me in my bag, and I would do it in between classes just to give myself a little confidence boost. You know, so that's my personal story, right? I had the traditional path of going down like law school, and I had the non-traditional path of making my own business, doing tarot. That was my fork in the road, and I hit a dead-end street like a million times, it felt like, before I finally got on the right path. Like, I dropped out of law school 2.5 years in to my bachelor's degree, just to completely turn left and start doing tarot all the time. Which I grew up in a Catholic family, so that's heavily frowned upon. They're like, you're a demon. And I'm like, I play with cards. You know that this is a card, right? Like, and now I look back and I realize like how much time I had wasted on trying to people please other people, how I really was very close to accepting a life that I would have been so miserable in that I probably would have like unalived myself pretty early, because I was unwilling to like break the chains that I had kind of clicked onto myself, that all these self-imposed restrictions on who I should be and how I should think and what I should do really made me miserable. And until I got to a point, like a real breaking point, where I was like, no, I'm not willing to go back. I will not attend this semester at all. In fact, I'll never go back. That was probably the most empowering thing I could have done for myself. And even though, you know, I do tarot now, and I'm not the most popular reader, I'm barely in YouTube's algorithm, and it's taken a lot of trial and error. I mean, I've posted over 150 videos in just this year. That's like that I post twice a week, and it's still not gotten me super far, but I am the happiest I've ever been doing this job, you know? This is what makes me incredibly happy, no matter how many hours I work on it. And I have put some crazy hours in, I'll tell you what. So yes, I definitely do get the sense that you're kind of, and this doesn't have to be with career, this could absolutely be with love. Maybe you're trying to decide between two partners, or you're trying to decide between whether or not you want to have children, or, you know, maybe you want to have children, but you still want to work, but your whole family thinks you should be like a stay-at-home mom, things like this. I do get the sense that a lot of why your intuition here, it's fine, I'll drop it. Why your intuition here is being blocked with this gazelle in reverse is because you're looking at other people to make your decision for you. When really, I think if you were to look into your heart, if you were to look at what makes you happy, if you were to look at the secret side of yourself, because we do have the moon being highlighted in the back here. Maybe it's a sun? I can't really tell because the background is, it's like a purple. So I can't really tell if it's a sun or a moon. Maybe there are some secrets, like obviously I grew up with a Catholic family, so tarot was my dirty little secret for a really long time, until I finally, like, even at my this just past holiday reunion with my family, I kind of struggled with some self-doubts about that. I talked about it in the Thanatos reading as well, where, you know, I was talking to my Catholic aunt about it, and in the midst of talking to her, I was like, wow, I felt all these self-doubts coming on me of like, wow, maybe I should quit doing tarot. Maybe I should, you know, choose a different path for myself. And all it really took was just one person commenting on my video and saying something, like complimenting me, for me to be like, no, this is 100% my path and I will never give it up, actually. I will actually fight for this, and this is the only thing I'm willing to fight for. So I think that's kind of what Spirit is trying to push you towards, is like, find what you're willing to fight for and keep that close to your chest. Like, fight for it with all of your might. Let's get a little bit deeper here. If there's a person in it, don't be alone. Yeah, and maybe you feel like you're too old, or too uneducated to do something that you really want to do. But I see that not actually being an issue. I feel, again, it's like a self-imposed restriction. Ooh, whoa. That's a lot. Okay, so I have lost on the back of the deck. Ghosted, blocked, cut off. We have nightlife coming out. Take a risk. Gamble, Vegas. I have drastic, cut off, extreme or harsh. And I have divine masculine coming out. So I do feel as if I am speaking more to maybe you're questioning the path that a masculine is taking, or you are a masculine and you are at this crossroads trying to decide. This is giving me commitment issues. This is giving me commitment issues right off rip, especially with that lost and settling down. This is giving me commitment issues. So this is giving me the idea that you were at the crossroads, the fork in the road of like, do I commit or do I like live the bachelor life forever? You don't have to, dude. You don't have to pick. Oh my goodness. Unless like you're trying to get married like tomorrow, then it sounds like you've already picked. It sounds like you already know. So go for it. Nobody's stopping you. This also might be like a masculine who is too attached to an old persona of his, like the player, the club goer, the partier, etc. But I do get the sense that they're trying to cut this off. This feels like a toxic, I was gonna say cancer, like a cancerous membrane. It feels like a tumor that they're trying to slice off. So yeah, like I said, this might be a masculine who is like in their heart and soul, they want to settle down, but they feel the need to like keep feeding this persona of theirs that they've curated. They need to cut it off. Or they have been cut off, because we do have lost, ghosted, blocked off. They've been cut off by the person that they wanted to settle down with as a result of this nightlife behavior, this player energy. Maybe they took a gamble in this situation and it didn't pan out for them. And, I just got really overwhelmed, like with a really deep sadness. I feel crushed out of like nowhere. Yeah, maybe their lifestyle didn't mesh well with my ears ringing really badly, with the type of partner that they wanted to have. This might be someone who like their idea of a marriage is like to like settle down with like a partner and live out that lifestyle like together. I don't understand that. This feels like self-imposed restriction again. I don't understand why you would settle down with a partner who wouldn't support like your need for entertainment. And I mean that in the sense where like, if you are dating someone and they never let you, that shouldn't even be a sentence. Let you should not even be a sentence, okay? Let's start there. If you are dating someone and it is hard for them to accept that sometimes you need to have a night out. Now, I don't mean go out and cheat on them, right? But you need to have like a drink with the boys. That is not a healthy relationship. You should leave, like, obviously. Maybe that is, though. Maybe that is the issue. Maybe you are with someone. Obviously, all relationships are going to be different. You could be with someone who, like, had alcoholism in the past, so they have an expectation of you to not come home reeking of booze because it might trigger them. And that's fine. But at the same time, like, you can't have a partner who is that controlling over you, where it's like you're not allowed to because of my issues. There has to be some form of compromise here. And I think the self-imposed restriction here is that there is no room for compromise within this divine masculine's head. He does not think in terms of compromise, of possibilities. He thinks in black and white in terms of absolutes, right? Like, if I choose to go down this path, then I 100% have to stop doing all these things. And I can't choose that path because I like doing all of those things, without thinking of the fact, like, you could easily have a partner who likes going out to the club with you, who likes going out to a casino with you, you know? Maybe they don't drink, you know? They don't have to get drunk with you. They can hang out at the bar. And a good example of this is, like, one of my first relationships. I was with a guy for 4 years, right? he really liked metal music. And one thing that we really shared in common was we both really loved music. But the difference between us is I hate live music. I hate it. Oh my God, concerts are just, I'm really noise sensitive. So concerts are like an aneurysm to me. And he loved them. He loved live music. In fact, he wanted to be like a professional, I would say hype man, but he wanted to be like a professional music manager. And he 100% had all of the qualities that would eventually lead him to being that. And I fully believed in that dream of his. Not even that, but like I liked to see him happy. So I compromised all the time. We went to like 2 or 3 shows a month at a minimum. I think the first year that we dated, we went to like 100 shows together. And the thing that always got me, that made me laugh, is like at the very end of our relationship, I remember telling him like, I hate live music. And he's like, what? Then why am I buying all these tickets for you? And I was like, well, I went with you because it made you happy to go. But no, I fucking hate it. Like, I hate live music so much. And I was like, you never once thought it was weird that I always sit in the back of the bar eating french fries with headphones on? Like, not interacting with anyone, just being like, love you, honey, have fun in the pit. Like, you never once thought that was weird? And he was like, oh no, I never like thought about it like that. I thought that was just what you like to do at live music. And it's like, no, I don't like live music. That's the issue. That's why I'm doing those behaviors, because I understand that this is your passion and this is what you love to do, and this is something that is a non-negotiable for you, where you could not give this up and still be who you are. And I'm not trying to take that away from you by any means, because I love you and I care for you and I love who you are. So I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to go to all these shows that I don't really like or care for and sit in the back and eat french fries the whole night by myself, because I love you enough to do that, and because, you know, like, you compromised for me in the sense where, like, you were not really ready to do some of the, like, more adult things that I wanted to do, like go to college or get an apartment, but you still compromised and we moved and you let me go to school and I got multiple jobs where I had to be away from the home, or like I found a cat on the side of the road. That's Honey. And, you know, you hate cats, but you compromised and you let me keep that cat. Not let me, but you compromised and we live with that cat now. And I still have that cat 8 years later, even without him. But I probably wouldn't have been able to do that if in the very, very beginning he was like, no, I'm unwilling to live with a cat. You know, that cat would not have been part of his experience with me. I think I would have broken up with him for it, though. I really love Honey. I think that would have been the end for us. Oh, my goodness. But no, I see that this divine masculine is kind of thinking in these, like, absolutes, like my ex did, where my ex was like, well, she goes to every single show with me, so she must love it, too. And it's like, no, I hate it. I'm just willing to compromise for you because I love you, and I realize that this is something that you want. And I think as a result of this concept of absolutes, he might have tried to, because we have insatiable underneath ghosted, he might have tried to find loopholes to this. This could be like telling your partner you're going out to the gym and instead, you know, going getting drunk with the boys. This could even be something like, oh, no, I don't really want to do that one. That's kind of gross, Spirit. But fine. This could be like, you know, a woman who really wants kids, but her husband doesn't want kids, or it could be like the other way around, and they try to like force that concept on them through like entrapping them. I actually had a friend like this. I had a friend named Liz, and she was like, I think one of her kids was caused by this guy who had like other kids in other states that he did not disclose he had. But he had this like repetitive behavior of meeting women, sexually entrapping them, getting them pregnant, and then leaving. And this was like a really unhealthy routine that would ensure that any partner he ever had would not be able to be with him long term because of all these secrets he was harboring, because of all these loopholes that he was trying to get through. Which, by the way, Liz, if you're listening to this, I love you. I didn't mean to say your name out loud. I'm sorry. I might bleep it out later. But from what I'm seeing, this masculine is like, he's too caught up in the concept that he can only have one or the other without realizing, like, both of these paths could coexist easily. In fact, this might be a fork in the road that loops around to the same point. It feels like he's taking an unnecessarily long road for this. Let me get some more information, because I'm kind of rambling here. And we're not even to the tarot yet. Oh, there we go. I'm going to take these two. Ooh, ooh. Okay, so it seems like we do have two paths. We have Aries. This is impulse. This is impulses. I would even go as far to say, like, nightlife. This is like that club energy. It's a need for excitement, a need for constant stimulation. Whereas on the other side, what's the other one? Fame and elevation. Yeah, there might be something about, this really reminds me of, what reading was it? The Flame. It was the Flame reading, right? It might have been the Prayer, one or the other. But it was heavily about someone, I just totally lost my train of thought. Isn't that nice? Isn't that so fun? My head just like dumped out. That was cool. All right, I guess I'll just get some more information. Hopefully that'll come back later. I don't know. But we have fame and elevation, so he might be trying to, he might feel as if, oh, it's the wild side. That's what it was. It was a reading where, like, the energy that this person carried was very, like, Jekyll and Hyde. They had, like, a very tame, curated persona that they were pushing out, projecting into the world, that it actually gained them some kind of social status. But their wild side, they felt like ruined everything for them. Because it couldn't be, they didn't see it as useful. When really, if it was like harnessed correctly, it would absolutely be useful. We have recognition and reward coming out. And emotional withdrawal. Yeah, that mirrors that energy so much. So much. Where it's like, if they were able to, instead of trying to like shove down this portion of themselves, this impulsive sense of self, maybe even this like nightlife, it feels exciting, even if it's not like actually going out to clubs or gambling. It feels like some kind of vice, and it feels like it excites them a lot. But they feel like they can't have that and have this like traditional sense of self. But again, like, this person thinking in absolutes is crazy. It's actually like, it doesn't live in reality at all. I mean, there are politicians who, you know, they scream the conservative gender to have a traditional lifestyle with a wife and kids and a 9-to-5, and then like turn around and cheat on their wife with like a male dominatrix while they do a ton of cocaine. Like, there's tons of those. There are tons, and we've seen the exposures in media where like people are allowed, like, if they were to just accept this portion of themselves, they would not be so hateful on the inside and constantly projecting that hatred into like a sense of control over others. Not to say that all conservatives are like full of hate and controlling, even though a lot of the media, at least in my country, does kind of portray them as that. Like, I've been hearing a lot, like, there's no love like Christian hate. I'm sorry, there's no Christian love like MAGA hate. Things like that. This person doesn't think, though. Maybe that's that emotional withdrawal. This person might struggle with emotional processing. We have prosperity begins underneath that. So this person might feel like, ooh, with a union, a spiritual union and a firm foundation. I feel like if this person was able to process their emotions properly and accept themselves for who they are, they would be less, I'm hearing downtrodden, because we have recognition and reward, but we have suffering and silence directly under that. And obstacles and challenges. Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah. It's almost as if, this really does kind of have like a political feel to it, where it's like the higher like status quo that you're able to achieve, the more risky it is that the side of you being exposed, like the more, what am I looking for? The more consequences there are for that. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's get into the tarot, because I feel like I'm talking in circles. Where What is this entire... Okay. But no, I do feel like this person is either one, they are blocked off by someone they actually did see a life with due to their behaviors, their sneaky behaviors, or they're trying to like block off this whole side to them that realistically like, isn't as bad as they think it is, and it is, they're like tricking themselves. Not even just that, look, they're tricking themselves out of a soulmate by not accepting this path. Yeah, by not accepting themselves. By not accepting what they actually want. That's so sad. That's so sad. This person's going to be so sad. Oh my goodness. I'm actually going to use my Little Mermaid deck because this person seems very, and I do not mean this to be cruel, this feels like a very simple person mentally. So I'm going to use my Little Mermaid deck to hopefully get some messages. We have my Knight of Swords. This person's not thinking straight. They're not thinking... they're like trying to manipulate the situation or come in with like without a plan. We have my Two of Pentacles, but they can't juggle anymore. The Lovers, this could be in regards to a relationship. Maybe they're... this is gross. This is a really gross energy. This feels like force. This feels like they were at the fork of the road and they were forced into a relationship they didn't want to be in, and now they're starting to realize that there is an enormous amount of unhappiness there. Maybe they married for yeah, because I'm not even trying to be rude by any means. When we look at the Little Mermaid story, she had to kiss a human so she could keep her legs, or so she could get her voice back. That was the contract that she had made. So this is giving me the sense that like this person needed to have like a traditional partner in order to fulfill some type of obligations. This really does seem like that, the Flames archetype read. It really does, because a lot of that, and the prayer, a lot of that was about emotional processing, expectations set by family members, and narcissism. There's a lot about like narcissistic traits that have been learned from authorities. Okay, fine, don't let me have Okay. Okay, we have the Hanged Man. Oh, that's my card. Cute. We have the Hanged Man. So this person is feeling quite stuck. Once again, fork of the road with the Two of Wands. They feel very, very stuck. They are not sure what to do. Specifically, it feels like in the area of love or something that they have passion for. It doesn't have to be a person. This could be like a career like it was for me. This could be, you know, some kind of vice. Like for me, my dad hates cigarettes. I love cigarettes. I love smoking. I love smoking cigarettes. I'll never give them up. Matter of fact, I'll never quit. I've tried repeatedly. I've even gotten as far as like 4 months clean, but I just love them, okay? And I remember being a teenager and my dad caught me smoking, and his like immediate resolve was he bought a pack of cigarettes and was like, you have to smoke this whole pack. And I remember looking at him being like, if I do that, I'm just gonna be like addicted for the rest of my life. And he was like, I don't care. And I've been addicted for the rest of my life, so I don't know. It feels like whatever expectation was set to them, set on them by an authority or by someone else, maybe by like a traditional community, it made them happy, right? Like they thought it was the right path to go. I don't think it's the right path to go for this person. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely not the right path to go. In fact, I feel like if this person takes the path that they do not want in order to please other people, that path is going to burn down before their very eyes. The Tower. I always get so scared when it comes up in my readings. Oh my god, yeah, with the King of Swords behind that. Exactly, because they'd be lying to themselves. Ten of Swords behind that. They would, look, and we have the Seven of Pentacles directly into that in reverse. My Seven of Pentacles is always like my harvest, my material harvest card. So with that coming in reverse, like, what if they take this path that they know they do not care for, they're going to waste their time, their energy, maybe their money, maybe their resources, maybe waste someone else's emotions, time, money, resources, etc. It will not work out for them. And not even that. That's not what they want. And they know that's not what they want. I'm only saying divine masculine because there's a divine masculine here. If you are a feminine watching this, this could easily be like you're trying to decide the type of person that you want to be with long term. And again, like, you know, patriarchal standards can absolutely stand from that. They feel like there's going to be a poor success in getting what they want. And even if they do get what they want, they'll be heavily judged for it. But they need to learn internal harmony. They need to learn to be at peace with the fact that not everyone will like them. You could be the juiciest peach in Georgia. Not everybody likes peaches, babe. We have the Empress in reverse. So it does give me the sense, especially with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here, and the Ace of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. It gives me the sense that if they are to commit to the wrong person, this person will make their life hell. Like, this is someone, the person that they are planning, that would be like the more traditional route for them in their head, is the Devil. I wasn't gonna say that. I just pulled it. Oh no. Yeah, look, we have Ursula. Oh my god. Is Ursula in this? Yes, it's Ursula in this. Like, there is a really gross third party that they know they would be miserable with. Sea Witch? There's the moon again. Okay, so it was the moon in the oracle cards that I was seeing. Yeah. This person needs to be at peace with their own decisions. They need to realize, and I remember telling a friend this like months ago. They had said something to me, and I was like, you're a grown-ass man. I don't care. Like, I don't care what you do. You're a grown man. Figure it out. And that's usually my response to a lot of people. When they're like, well, what should I do? And I'm like, aren't you almost 30? Figure it out. Oh my god. Like, this is not how an adult acts, okay? Like, taking your cues from everybody else, that's not how an adult... You need to make your own decisions. It's not difficult. It's not difficult at all once you stop trying to pander to everyone else. Okay, and then... Oh, sorry. We had the Four of Cups and the Sun in reverse. So, yeah, they might be looking at a relationship that they had in the past, kind of wishing, wanting, yearning. We can see Ariel kind of like pounding her fists on the floor. So this person might be really upset that with the Five of Cups on the other side, they might feel very alone internally because they matched, or they chose, or they're considering choosing someone that is not really compatible with them and the things that they want. And this is, they're thinking about doing this to please other people. Stupid. I'm sorry. Because this reading, this energy has been coming up so often on my channel, we're gonna pause all of the tarot for a second, okay? We need to do a little activity, guys. We need to work on this, because I'm tired. I'm tired of listening to people who have no emotional processing skills. You're gonna learn emotional intelligence, and you're gonna learn it now. So, let's do it. There are 5 steps to emotional processing, right? In order to deal with your emotions when you feel them. The first step is pause. Take a deep breath if you need to. Remove yourself if you feel like you are going to be a danger to yourself or other people. Remove yourself from the situation entirely. That could easily be a pause for you. The second step is identify. Identify the surface emotion that you're feeling. I'm going to use anger for this example because anger is what most men, and given that we have a divine masculine, that's what most men are able to intrinsically understand. So you're feeling like a burning hot feeling in your throat. Your mind is frenzied with maybe insults or even like violent urges. You might feel like you need to scream or hit something. This is anger. Again, most people intrinsically know what I'm feeling. I feel angry, right? So now we need to identify the layers. Why am I angry? What is this anger caused by? I'm going to give you a scenario. Okay, let's say, actually I'm going to use a scenario from my real life, okay? And I'm going to show you how he dealt with it without emotional processing and how it should have been dealt with emotional processing. So, I went on a date, this was like 6 years ago. I went on a date with someone and I went to this little like pizza shop And I pulled out tarot cards, right? And I started doing my little tarot thing because I love tarot. That's who I am. This man, shut up. He didn't say a thing. He seethed on the inside. He got so angry with me. And then after it, right, after the date, which I will give him that, he paused. He didn't scream at me. He didn't hurt me. He didn't, do anything ridiculous. He did pause, and he waited until he was removed to think about it and then come back to me. That's the issue, though. This is as far as he got, was identifying that he was angry. Then he called me. He called me, screaming at me, telling me that I'm a weirdo. And I was like, whoa, I had no idea you were not comfortable with that. I made it pretty clear that I do tarot and that that's something that, I really enjoy. And he was like, no, like, that's so fucking weird. You embarrassed me. So I'll give him that. He got that far, right? He was angry in the restaurant. He paused. He waited until we were separated. He thought on it on his own because he couldn't contain without projecting. And then he realized that it's not just anger he's feeling. He is feeling embarrassed. That's the emotion underneath the anger. That's as far as he got. Now, I had told him, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that you were feeling like that. Like, I'll keep that in mind. I will not do tarot, at a restaurant with you, in the future instead. Now, he was able to identify, well, I'm angry because I'm feeling embarrassed, and but where he missed out is he's feeling embarrassed because he feels ridiculed by other people, right? He's too focused on what other people in the other booths staring at us are thinking. And then he's making up what their opinions are in his own head, and then accusing me, projecting those fears of what they're thinking onto me. So truthfully, he's not angry. He's terrified. What is he terrified of? He's terrified of all these people's opinions. People we have never seen since. Neither of us have seen those people since. So we know why he was upset. He felt humiliated. He felt ridiculed. He felt angry, right? That's the build-up. Now, and it's good that he accepted that that's how he was feeling, and he communicated it to me. It was not okay that he communicated it to me through insults and screaming, and months after it took place, just randomly calling me up to scream at me. What should he have done instead? What was the proper way to do it? Well, when we were at dinner, it would have been better if he was like, hey, I feel pretty disrespected, or, yeah, that's kind of the other emotion, is disrespect. It couldn't just be, like, ridicule. He felt like I was disrespecting his time by doing that. But moving forward, he could have, at the dinner table, when I pulled out the tarot cards, he could have been like, hey, I actually invited you here so we could get dinner and, like, get to know each other. I'm not interested in tarot, and I don't feel comfortable with you having them on the table right now. So I would prefer if you could just put them away. And that would give me the choice and the option to be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Or, no, I'm actually not comfortable with, putting them away. Maybe we just aren't compatible, right? That's how you emotionally process pretty easily. He's a dumb, I'm not going to say that. He actually, sometimes he watches these, so I'm not, I don't want to dog on him. But, I know he's not the best with emotional processing, so I'm not going to dog on him for that. But I will say that it was surprisingly advanced for how little knowledge he has on the topic. Now, once again, you're feeling an intense emotion. You pause, you identify what it is, you identify the layers, then you accept what you're feeling. Okay, I'm feeling disrespected that this girl I brought out on a date, is using the time to get to know me to play with cards. Totally understandable, totally respectable. It makes sense that he would feel disrespected, humiliated, angry at me for that. The next step is to accept it. Okay, I feel disrespected. Let himself experience that emotion inside. Don't project that outside, because that's not my responsibility. I don't know, right? Then he has to address it, which he did address it, just really poorly. And again, the correct way to address it would have been like, oh, can we work together on this so I don't have to feel this uncomfortable emotion anymore by myself? I would rather we can find an emotion that we can both partake in, like enjoying the food or the conversation together, rather than me feeling disrespected and angry and you in your own little la-la land playing with your cards happy, Totally respectable. that would have changed my entire view of him at that day, at that point when he screamed at me, you know? It honestly would have changed the entire experience for both of us, and we both would have had a lot of a better time because of it. But instead, I spent the rest of the date being like, okay, this guy, like, he's being really weird. He's, like, not talking to me, and he's being really rude, and he's clearly not interested in the tarot, so I'm going to put that away. But I don't understand why he was, like, so rude to me. Now, to continue on this, there are some tools. I know men love tools. There's some tools you can utilize in order to emotionally process in a proper way. You can journal. Obviously, that's going to help if you can, like, layer out your emotions on paper. That can help you to identify them, accept them, experience them, and make a resolve for them. You can pause. Obviously, you can remove yourself. Those are, like, in-the-moment tools when the emotion is too overwhelming for you instead of projecting it. You can meditate on it, right? Take a step back, like sit by yourself, think about what it is, go through these steps by yourself. And I think the most important tool to have during all of this is self-compassion. You're allowed to feel emotions. You're not allowed to hurt other people because of those emotions. Yeah, that's kind of my spiel. Let's go ahead and get into the messages. This was more of a spiritual read, so... Where do I want to go? Let's just do self-care, and then I'll grab charms. Okay, but yeah, one more time, just for the people in the back. What are the steps to emotional processing? Pause, identify, accept, experience, and resolve. Thank you. If you need help finding out, like, the layers of emotions, Google the emotional wheel. I keep a bookmark of it. Because I'm in the business of apparently teaching a lot of grown men how to behave as adults. Which is sad. Sick, sad, and pathetic for me. This is the feelings wheel. Okay, you can Google it. We've got all the base emotions like anger, sadness, happiness, stress, surprise, disgust, and then it just says bad. It's so funny. It just says bad, like a bad feeling. And then we have all the secondary emotions, so what's directly under those, what's causing those, and then the root emotions of what's causing the secondary emotion that's causing the surface emotion. Once you can break that down, you can figure out, why am I feeling this? And then you can accept it, and you can allow yourself to experience what you've accepted that you're feeling, and then you can find a healthy resolve. Yeah. Alright, let's get some self-care. Oh, we have 3. Cute. So we have the first one is create art. So maybe taking some time. This could be, art doesn't have to be like painting. This could be like my personal version of art is I make tarot cards on my phone. So I do that. I also paint. I make potpourri. I do slate work. I'm actually gonna put all these to the side so I can show you. I do slate work where I digitally design it and then I apply it in person, and then I do like manual hand touches with paint, but it takes a long time to like polish out the slate and everything. So I do a lot of like mineral work. That's my version of art, but I know plenty of people who like make music, who write poems, who write books. I also write books. I have a friend who makes rosaries. Isn't that so cute? Like, that's her version of art. She's not even Christian. I love her to death. If you're here. We have make an altar. And then we also have drink tea. Or honestly, it could just be like a fun little drink. Like, I don't really like tea. I love aloe water. It's so good. That's my version of it. Like, aloe water just cools me. Cools me down real nice and easy. But yeah, I do get a sense of this masculine. Ooh, we have energy work. Meditation, maybe. And we also have a little hanky-panky, a little fun time, a little spicy time in the bedroom. Might be relieving for this masculine. And be still. They don't want to do any work in bed. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I am just kind of getting the sense that if this masculine was able to like process his emotions and even process some of the trauma that he's experienced, he would be able, like, this path wouldn't even be a question. He wouldn't be confused for a single second. It would be crystal clear for him what direction he needs to go and what's right for what's compatible with him. But no, he's for some reason, like, shaming himself. What was the point of that? I've never understood. I knew someone like that. They were like, they had told me they were really self-deprecating, and I was like, what's the point of that? And they were like, oh, trust me, there's a point. And I was like, no, there's not. I think you're just like, I think you just like to hurt yourself, but that's also not okay. Like, what's the point of that? Whatever, though. Whatever. What can I do? I mean, oh my goodness. Okay, let's get some charms here. I love you guys. Oh my god, someone here is a smoker, and I went on that little rant about smoking cigarettes. Yeah, if you, like, are the type of person where, like, you're shaming yourself because you smoke, and you feel like, well, you know, if I want to do this and this and this, I have to quit smoking. And while that makes sense for someone who does, like, diving, or someone who has to, like, hold their breath for some reason, or has to have healthy lungs. Oh, I have a friend who's a trumpet player. Like, he'll randomly and, like, take really deep breaths to expand his lungs. He's a great dude. But he's a smoker. So really, no. If you want to smoke, smoke. Don't shit on yourself for it. If you think, like, for some reason you have to, for some kind of, like, social standard to meet, don't hold yourself to it anymore. You can release those chains off yourself, babe, and have a cigarette. We do have something about a broken heart here. Someone here might be brokenhearted. We have 3 fortunes, 2 affirmations, 4 mini tarot. It looks like 3 more charms. I'll get into those in just a second. And 2, oh my gosh, initials. Okay, here we go. We have Paris, the Eiffel Tower here. Someone might like traveling, or they want to travel. Maybe they feel like they can't travel if they choose to go down a certain path. I don't think that's true, though. Again, I think that this is something like they think in absolutes. So they decide what other people are going to think or say or expect from them, and then they take that as absolute truth, and then they, like, paralyze themselves as a result, which is... Have you tried being less annoying? I'm sorry. I should be less rude. We have the dinosaur here, so there could be someone from their past that they think of. There could be some history here. Or it could just be, like, old bad habits. Old bad habits that they need to get rid of. For the fortunes, we have be the kind of friend that you'd want to have, or you'd be proud to have. Seek out a service project that uplifts your community. This is not a partner, by the way. Your partner is not a project, and they shouldn't be. You should be compatible with your partner. You should like your partner. That's not... I'm just going to keep going, because their energy's getting me irritated right now. The only way to have a friend is to be one. Yeah. There's something here about this person doesn't really know how to... I don't think they know how to communicate properly, like communicate their feelings, and I think that might be because of this emotional withdrawal, which, to be fair, has gotten them a lot of, like, success, but they need to learn how to deal with it before it ruins their life. We have my King of Pentacles in reverse. It's my Six of Swords. So again, I feel like this person might have hit... They may be hitting some type of, like, emotional rock bottom. I'm getting the sense that, like, their inner well, their inner source, their inner light has kind of been, like, extinguished. We have the Death card in reverse. They're not sure how to change, how to transform the situation to get back on the right path. This has to do with, like, their soulmate, with true love, with my Two of Cups, with their passion. We have 2 initials here. We have G, which is Gary, Garth, Gabriella, Gabriel, Gabrielle, Gabe, Glenn, Gail, Gretchen, George. And then, I would also say God, given that religion has kind of come up with, like, a traditional sect. Anyways, we also have N. So Nora, North, Nathan, Nathaniel, Nate, Noni, Nancy, Nellie, Nia, Natasha, Nevea. That's just heaven spelled backwards, baby. That's funny. Okay, and then the mini affirmations. We have open your eyes. Spirit's so done with this person. They're like, if you would just think about how you're feeling, if you would just recognize your emotions for a second, this would not be a hard like, oh, this is giving me the sense like this person was handed the right answer on a silver platter and they still were like, no, I can't do that. I can't accept that. And then we have groovy love coming out. That's so funny. This person's, I would call them funny, but they're really just like kind of scared. And I think they don't even recognize that what they're feeling is fear. Yeah. It's a little sad, but it's not that sad, you know. This is more like a point and laugh situation, like, idiot. That's kind of how their guides are looking at them, where they're like, fucking idiot. Oh my gosh. We couldn't make it any clearer, actually. Still fucking up. Oh, it's funny. I'm gonna grab an angel number, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. Because I feel like whoever this is needs extra confirmation, so. We have 924. September 24th could be significant with 924. We also have Sagittarius season. That starts November 22nd to, I think, December 21st or December 23rd. But Sagittarius season could be significant. And we have the South Node being highlighted. So that could be soul contracts. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna stop because whatever I say next is gonna be so violently rude. All right. Just because, again, this person needs so much extra confirmation. Ask a question, and I'm gonna flip yes or no for you. All right, ready? Yes. Yes is your answer. Oh, I threw it. Whatever. Okay, bye.